women's soccer, and excited to be back in Coley and getting started with our season for 2016. Been here for about a little under 2 weeks at this point, going through preseason and trying to figure out what we're going to be about as a team and kind of personnel and kind of the makeup of the 2016 group. Like every preseason, we have some that are exceeding expectation and some that are falling short, and that's what this time is for. Really, the initial component of preseason is to find out what the ladies did over the summer to prepare to be successful, and that a lot of that comes down to fitness. And so our fitness tests kind of, from a coaching staff point of view, show us kind of preparation of what they did over the summer. And then from there you start getting into the team dynamic, to see who's going to kind of step up and be a leader for us and carry the weight and show those qualities that we look for in terms of veteran players. And sometimes some younger players fall into that category as well, with leadership. And then the soccer obviously takes place, and you start to see where people are comfortable, where they fall short, and a lot of it is mental toughness. We see who can stand the pressure in those situations, and that's kind of what preseason is about. So we've been going through that. Obviously had 2 games early. We played 4 games after being here. Played 2 games after being here. One of them was 4 days against Wright State, and we looked like we'd been here for 4 days. Had a lot of kinks to work out. I didn't think we played well in some segments, and other segments we did well, but as a whole, it wasn't a very good outing for us. But it was a learning moment. We got, from a coaching standpoint, got some areas we knew we needed to focus on, and kind of built our training the next week or the next few days before the App State game based on the performance at Wright State. Played App State on last Thursday, I believe. All my days were running together at this point. But showed a lot better against App State, showed improvement, obviously got a result. Still have a lot of areas to work on. The part from a coaching standpoint is in both those games we had probably 4 players on the field that I would consider having significant time at this level. So we got a lot of young players, a lot of inexperienced players on the field, and that's all part of the growth. So it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But the main thing we're looking for from a coaching perspective is improvement each day, each session, getting better. So that's kind of up to this point where we're at. We open this weekend, the 2016 season. We open at Charlotte and at Winthrop. Charlotte will be a very big test for us. Historically, a very strong program. Playing on the road in that environment will test us. So we're preparing for that. And then obviously on Sunday we got Winthrop, which is another different kind of test. Obviously playing in Rock Hill, South Carolina on Sunday at 3 p.m. is going to be very warm. Winthrop does not play on Friday, and so they're going to be well rested where we play on Friday and show up there. So both different kind of games, different dynamics, but will certainly be a challenge for us being on the road and being very young.
Talk a little about your staff, players, what kind of people you have coming back, and some of the holes you had to fill.
Our spring last year, a lot of what we talked about and kind of our building all last spring was getting the team right in terms of mentality and who we wanted to be about for this season, leadership qualities, and all of that, because we knew we were going to have a very young group coming in. I feel like we have a pretty good base of returners. Obviously in the goal you get Carly Tensman, who's a senior this year, one of 3 seniors on the team. And we're going to lean on her heavily for that leadership and that game experience. She's came in this fall probably the best fitness level she's been at in her career, which is exciting for us as coaches. So Carly's got a big weight on her shoulders. She's really got to be a leader and be better in some areas than she has been called upon in her career. Some returners that obviously have good experience that we're going to weigh heavily on is Casey Cook, was our leading scorer last year. She's a redshirt junior. She's kind of the player that we rely on all the time to give us consistency and kind of dictate the pace at which we want the team to be at. She's usually pretty consistent in that. Sayers McKenna was a freshman last year, all SoCon freshman team. Very dynamic player, still has a lot to learn, a lot of growth, but has the ability to be very special for us. Obviously, we lean on her heavily. And then, Haven Leland's a senior. Obviously, she brings the leadership quality to the team. She's kind of a vocal leader for us. Sheridan Caudle is another upperclassman that we hope that we can put some weight on her shoulders and she'll respond. And then we've had a couple of significant injuries here early. One of our returners who's played every game for career, Allie Frankerney's out. I'm not sure of her status, but we're just kind of playing it week by week. Megan McAllister got injured over the weekend or last week at App. Unsure of her ability moving forward. So you deal with it. I mean, it's part of it. You obviously have injuries, but it just it allows other people to step up in those positions and shine. And that's what we tell them all the time. Freshmen coming in. I mean, we have 10 freshmen. We've had a handful of freshmen that have been getting significant minutes for us, which is good for their development. From a coaching standpoint, it's learn as you go. It's oftentimes not pretty, but your objective is for them to get better every time they're out there. So, been really impressed with some of the freshmen, and they've done extremely well.
This is the lowest amount of seniors that you've had, and really a young team. How do you feel about kind of a molding year a little bit, but you've also got some high-powered offense that you can rely on?
Yeah, I mean, as a team, we're pretty young. We graduated a pretty strong class for us last year. That were veteran players that I think 7 of them out of the 10 started for us. So obviously we knew this year was going to be a different dynamic. And it's all part of getting, like I said earlier, getting better every session and trying to build upon it. I think we have a lot of talent. We just don't have a lot of experience. So at times, that's probably going to hurt us. We just got to grow up fast. We got to learn from every outing and get better. We have the personnel in place. It's just a lack of experience at this point.
Can you tell the fans who didn't get to see it a little bit about the App State game? 0-0, you had a barrage of shots that App sent your way, and you got that. You always say don't let teams hang around on either side, and it kind of went in your favor, and a youngster get the goal.
The App State game was a great environment for our girls to be in early on in the season. It's the biggest crowd I've ever seen at App. It was exhibition. There was probably 1,500, 2,000 people there. So it was a great environment for our younger players to be in. Obviously, playing on turf adds a different element to it. We don't train on turf, so that that's an adjustment. There were times in that game where I thought we did things really well and really put them under a lot of pressure. There were times where they did the same to us. The thing that I always talk to you about, Denise, is the stats part. If you look at shots on goal, it was 6-5. A lot of places you play on the road, when they have 22 and 23 shots, they're not actually 23 shots. I mean, they were counting shots from 45 yards out that our goalkeepers were walking out and picking up. So the game was a lot tighter than the shot count. But both teams had opportunities. We dodged some bullets. They did as well. And we got a corner kick late, and a great service from Haven Leland. Emily Zippe, one of our freshmen, got on the end of it. Great header on goal. Their goalkeeper made a huge save, and the ball spilled out at the 6, and Kai Moncrief was in the right place at the right time and finished. So all around, it was good to see 2 freshmen had a big part in that goal. Really hadn't worked on set pieces at all, so it was all will and just desire to put themselves in a position to get something on frame. And we scored and hung on. I tell the team in preseason, I mean, as a coach, you always want to win, but at the end of the day, I wasn't really as concerned about scores in both those games as I was our performance and making sure we were getting better every outing. And we did that. I mean, I thought we were much more we did things a lot better against App State than we did Wright State, for sure.
How important was it to get a shutout with? And I don't think it's important, but you allow 2 goals against Wright State, but then you come in and you have a redshirt freshman like you did the previous game. Start the first part, put your veteran in at the end, and to come out split in time like that and get a shutout after letting 2 goals get by 4 days into preseason, but still.
Yeah, I mean, getting a shutout any time speaks volumes of your back 4, really your whole team defending, but your back 4 and your goalkeeper. In the App State game, we started a back four that had combined less than 10 games of college experience. So, I mean, we had two true freshmen back there. Shannon Burns, who played the last 6 games of the season for us last year. And then who was the other one? Haven Leland, who doesn't really play in the back. She's played maybe 4 games in her career in the back. So, I mean, in saying that, it was a great effort from that unit in the goalkeeping.
Can you talk a little bit about the conference? They put the poll out last week. You guys are in the middle of the pack. You know, you don't put much stock in preseason, but talk a little bit about the conference, how it's looking this year.
The Southern Conference in women's soccer is a very, very competitive field. Every year, I mean, it seems like 6 or 7 teams are capable of winning it. I would say the leader of the pack, Sanford, they're returning a very veteran team, kind of ran through the conference last year, and they're returning just about everybody. So in my eyes, Sanford is definitely, you know, the team everybody's trying to catch. And then from there, you have Furman, ETSU, Mercer, us, Wofford. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. UNCG. I mean, that pack has always been very tight. Give or take any weekend, you know, somebody can get a result. And then you got a new coach at the Citadel, who I think will do well there. Chattanooga's second year, and Gavin made huge strides for them last fall. So I mean, the bottom is catching the middle, and the middle is catching the top, and it's, you know, conference play. When you get to that point of the season, it's all about one game at a time and really putting your best foot forward. You have to defend your home. You have to do well at home to be successful in our league. And then, you know, it comes down to minutes and moments where you have to make them count. And so it's a tough league. You really have to stay on course at all times, because anybody can get you at any moment. And I don't think it'll be any different this fall.
You do a lot of describing through the year about your teams. You know, with this kind of youngster team, a little bit of experience, a little mixture. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, describe this kind of team we've got right now?
Very diverse in terms of personality. We have people from all walks of life and different personalities. It's fun as a coach to get into preseason and see them kind of come together and kind of mold them into believing in one. And they've worked hard. We got a lot to learn. But I like the team dynamic and the team chemistry. You know, one of the things we talk about all the time to our team as coaches is we want our team to be a family. We want to be able to lean on each other. And the whole thing is, when you have 30 players, obviously 30 players don't play all the time. And so the most important thing is everybody stays on the same page of knowing that their moment could come at any time. And when your number's called, you have to step up to the plate and produce. And it's tough, you know, that's tough a lot of times for young people, or anybody for that matter, to put team first in front of self. That's been the message throughout spring and fall is being a team and being one. So it's been a fun group. I think you will see us get better as the season progresses, being that we're so young. I think the more experience we get, the more we're going to learn, and hopefully, I mean, our goal always is to peak, you know, in late October. And I think this group, more than some of the others in the previous years, I think will have the capability of doing that, because we're starting at such an inexperienced level in so many places.
I think people may want to know if you guys have done any team bonding.
We do. I mean, we focus a lot on the team concept. You know, soccer is a piece of it. Obviously, that's the sport we play. But when it comes down to it, it's to me, it's all about the people. And so we constantly are stressing the importance of team. And in this weekend, we felt like we'd been going hard. We'd played 2 games and we needed a break. So we actually went to Cashers and rented a house and just spent 2 days just spending time together and getting away from the soccer component, and just, you know, fellowship and eating and hanging out. And it was fun to see kind of them outside of the field element. And I think it paid huge dividends for us in terms of that team chemistry concept.
One last question. I don't think we have any questions, but that's okay. This is our first time. That's cool. Talk a little bit about, after you get through the first week on the road, you finally get to go home, and you know, it's right after everybody gets back to school and you'll be in town, and what's cool to finally get in there and play for real, even though you had an exhibition, and people finally being on campus.
Really excited to get the season started. Obviously on the road, it's going to be a challenge for us. It's something that I think will be part of our growing process. I mean, playing in a pretty tough environment in Charlotte and then Winthrop and then coming home. I mean, we always stress the importance of playing here. I feel like we have an unbelievable facility. I believe we have one of the best surfaces in the league, if not in the region. And we tell the girls all the time, you got to take pride in home and make it tough on teams to come in here and play. And historically, this program has always got phenomenal support from the community, whether it be our parents, students, local people that maybe attend our camps. I mean, I feel like we get pretty good support. So it's always special to play, and we're really excited to have, after the opening weekend, have 2 weekends here against some good competition.
We do have a question. They saw you talking about playing Appalachian State in exhibition. Any chance of getting it back on the regular season schedule?
Yeah, I mean, we love playing App. It's always a great rivalry game, and Sarah's a good friend. I think a lot of her. So we're always trying to get those games, those rivalries, and we have a very rich tradition with App State in terms of the SoCon, and love playing them. So yes, I mean, we're always trying to get games with that.
Close out. Talk a little bit about just the season overall, and being able to talk to fans like this and answer questions, and what that means for you and the team and the program to be able to interact with the fans.
Yeah, I enjoy doing stuff like this. I mean, I think it's important to, as a coach, to put yourself out there to let as many people outside as you can, to let them be involved in your program and know what it's like to be here. We take a lot of pride in our girls. I feel like we coach an unbelievable group, not only athletes but students. We take a lot of pride in our academics with our program, and just have some phenomenal people. And my biggest goal as a coach is not only for them to find success here playing soccer for Western Carolina, but beyond that. What do you do when you go out in the real world? And we've been very blessed. I mean, in the 10 years I've been associated with this program, we've had 5 girls graduate from law school. We've got countless amounts of girls in grad school. We got one in medical school. We got one that graduated vet school at the University of Missouri. That's what it's all about. It's all about the experience of playing here, taking pride in it, being successful. But the grand scheme of things is, what do you do after, and what legacy do you leave here for the next group? That's what we're all about.
Maybe just thank the fans for listening in.
Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we can do this again and get more people asking questions. But I really appreciate the time and excited about 2016. If you're in town for a football game or whatever, come out and see us. We'd love to have you, and look forward to a successful 2016. Go Cats.